All right, we be live. We be live once again. Woo. Oh boy. All right. Test. Yep, audio looks good. Camera's good. Shaw Dulis, I think that's your name. Welcome back. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Amadian. Good to see you again. Thank you guys for stopping in. Oh man. I'll tell you what. Today was one of those mornings. Just call me Shaw. Shaw. Okay, I got it. Shaw it is. Easy peasy. I can do it. All right, we're jumping straight back into this desktop application. No rustlings this morning. Well, at least no rustlings right now. We're just going to go right back here. We were wrestling yesterday at the industry. We were wrestling with what I believe was a type issue in the ICE library. Or not like an issue in their library, but I was having an issue with the library. So I'm going to try to sort that out today. Oh my goodness. What a big scary error. Let's see. I just need to uninstall and reinstall the GitHub plugin. This. Alright, then we'll just give this a restart. What's up? Did I miss anything yesterday? I don't know what you missed. I don't know exactly what you were here for and what you weren't here for. But all we did yesterday was basically do more rustlings, and then we worked on my desktop application a little bit more. This notepad application that I'm building. But I don't think you missed anything like significant. Nothing to write home, as some might say. Good morning, Deep Code. Bro, just do vibe code. It's fun. I haven't had very much fun with the deep code. And I think that's okay. I am all for people having fun with vibe coding though. If that's what gets you going, more power to you, you know? I'm just a 32-year-old dad in Kansas, so what the fuck do I know? So I'll do what I think is fun and you do what you think is fun and we'll both vibe, you know? We'll vibe together. I find vibe coding boring. Like, let me just go lift some fucking weights, man. Somebody else can talk to the LLM. That's how I feel. Which maybe that means that I'm not cut out for software engineering anymore, you know? And that's okay. Things change. Seasons of life. They come and go. Sorry, I'm peeling my orange right now. If you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm peeling my orange. I saw a TikTok yesterday of Dario Amade saying that all software engineering would be automatable in the next 6 to 12 months. That guy just loves to make predictions. And then nobody ever holds him accountable for his predictions. All right. Orange has been peeled. Excuse me. I think the only leader in AI that I really pay too much attention to is the person who's in charge of Google's AI, Demis Hassabis, I think is how you say his name. That guy seems like he knows what the fuck he's talking about. I watched a documentary about him called The Thinking Game. I was like, what the fuck? This guy's like Einstein level intelligence. 1 sec, I'll be right back. Yeah, get your coffee, man. Get it. Get your coffee. What are you working on? I'm gonna work on building a notepad, or I've been working on building a notepad application in Rust so that I can learn Rust. So I'm gonna work on that today. I'm just gonna hack away at it, talk to chat, drink some coffee, enjoy my morning before I have to get ready and go to work. That's the plan. So where we left off yesterday is we essentially have the ability to edit text, but we now want the ability, if that text is Markdown, to preview it. And I'm not sure how to go about, where was it? It was somewhere in the view function. Markdown, there we go. It was here. So basically, we have a mismatch of types, right? So up at the top of my view function, I've declared that my view function returns an element, which produces a message. And right now, my Markdown preview is an element that produces a string. And we think, or me and chat's hypothesis at the end of yesterday's stream, was that this was the reason for all our difficulties. So we're going to try to do what they do in the documentation, which is something like this, where they basically map over this. And I think where was that documentation at? I forget where that was. It was on ICE's documentation side, I think. ICE.rs. Have made some progress yet? You mean have I made some progress on the app? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you saying you've made some progress getting your coffee? Which one do you mean, sir? Oh, you know what? I have a sneaky suspicion that my on the app. Oh yeah, we've made progress for sure. I mean, we have probably the majority of the functionality we need done, except for this Markdown preview, and then we need to spend some time styling. Yeah, we need to spend some time styling, which is kind of styling in this desktop application world is kind of what do I want to say? It's kind of painful because they don't really have like a hot reload type of workflow. So you basically have to make your changes, stop the app, rebuild the app. You know what I mean? So I'm currently putting off all the styling and formatting and stuff till kind of the end. But yeah, for the most part, we made good progress. I think I want to implement the Markdown functionality, and then I want to implement the ability to like call this application from the command line the way I do like Notepad. So like a lot of the times I'll do like Notepad and then some file. So I want to add the ability to do something like this and some file. And I think that'll be the last feature I add. And then I'll just focus on styling, and then I'll get this to where I can publish it, or build it and publish it. So that's my plan at the moment. They have, what do they have? They have a message link clicked is what they have. Like that. Now message link click doesn't exist. So we have to go to the editor, or sorry, to the message definition. And we need to say message link clicked, I think. No variant associated with. Did I just name that the wrong thing? I literally named that the wrong thing. Now, hopefully, what this means is expected a function string closure. Okay, so that does need to take a string. Huh.
Ilmanian is reminding you to hydrate.
Thank you. Ilmanian, appreciate that. I added all those things that we talked about yesterday. So now you can remind me to hydrate. That'll trigger text-to-speech message. And then you can also redeem channel points on Twitch for text, just random arbitrary text-to-speech messages that you want to send. Thank you very much for the reminder. Appreciate you. Cool feature. Oh yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it was two people yesterday on stream that were telling me that I didn't know about channel points. I'm relatively new to the whole Twitch thing, so they were telling me about people like earning channel points on Twitch, and then they like to be able to use those channel points for things. And that was two of their ideas: was there should be a hydrate reward and there should be a text-to-speech reward. So I put those together yesterday. Let's see. Type must be known at this point. So what is this type then? So this type is element message and then unknown. So if I do into, like they show in the docs, type must be known at this point. Try using a fully qualified path to specify the expected types. Which is so, this is really, oh, I think that's because I'm not actually using that in one of these returns. I think we almost got it. Markdown content is borrowed here. Is that not okay? Dude, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Type mismatch expected. All right, so how do I fix this? This is borrowed. So why are you angry about it being borrowed? Markdown content is borrowed here. Cannot return value. Let's see. Cannot return. What's this say? Cannot return value referencing local variable markdown content. Returns a value referencing data owned by the current function. Huh. So self.markdown. I wonder, do I need to lift the markdown up into the state? Because that's kind of how they have it shown here. We're closer. We're closer than we were yesterday, that's for sure. All right, let's focus on. Hold on. Let's focus on implementing the other errors, or we will resolve the other errors, and then let's see. Link clicked. For now, I don't really want to do anything with the link, but maybe we do want to do something in the future. Maybe we open a browser or something. So we can say print line. Yep. Link clicked. Oh my goodness, Copilot. For the one time I want to use you in the last 6 days. And then remove the unused import. Okay, now we're just left down to this ownership issue. So what is the ownership issue here? The ownership issue here is that the current function owns this value, and we're trying to return it. So the question is then, how do we deal with that? Right, that's the question. If I try to pass it without borrowing, it's angry. Type mismatch revolving vec item as into iterator item equals reference item. Expected a reference to item but found item. It's interesting because I'm not sure what I'm doing differently. I mean, the only things that I'm doing differently than what they're showing in that example is the fact that I have other things being returned with it. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's frustrating. Lurking? That's fine, man. Go ahead and lurk all you want. I was hoarding points, so I'm going to use more often. Nice, dude. I love it. Use your points however best brings you joy. I think that's the answer, man. I think the answer is to live your life in such a way that you feel good about your life, you know? I know that sounds like super simple and reductionist, but that's what I think. All right. So we're close here. I'm not sure though what needs to happen. Now, they definitely don't do this. And so I'm wondering if I move. See, they have the, where is it? They have the markdown defined on an instance of self, and they have markdown defined as a vec of markdown item, and they are parsing the markdown and collecting it. And then they are borrowing the markdown when they pass it to view. So I think everything I'm doing is basically what they're doing. Can I clone this? Temporary value created here. Cannot return value referencing temporary value, returns a value referencing data owned by the current function. All right, let's see if we can't get some Google foo help in here. Because I have no idea what's... What, that's the wrong thing. Oh no, my music stopped working. Well, that's no good. Oh no. We've had this issue once before. I wonder if I crashed the... Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently having technical difficulties. Weird. This has happened before and it usually comes back. Damn. See what happens in the network tab. Maybe I just like used the website so much the guy was finally like, hey, I gotta take this thing down, man. Huh. I don't even see... That's not the right tab, is it? Okay, so that's loading. Yeah, it's just hanging. All right, chat. We're gonna have to figure out an answer to this. We're gonna have to figure out some other way to get music, because that's no fun. This has only happened once before. I need to get some backup music. What's up, Stefan? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. I have to find some backup music. It's working for me, Steven. Clear your cookies. Oh, okay. Let me try. Gosh dang cookies. Wonder if maybe they blocked me. They're like, we're tired of this guy using our website. Huh. Connection timed out. Lo-figenerator.com is taking too long to respond. All right, let me try closing out my. I'm just gonna try closing the browser completely. Okay, that's not it. We had this issue the other day too with GitHub, where like randomly I just stopped being able to get to GitHub. And Discord. Discord was the other one I couldn't get to. So I can, that's so weird. The only solution I came up to it yet with the last time I had this issue is I had to restart my computer. Well, that's no fun. That's no fun at all. Oh, it's back. Don't worry, crisis averted. Crisis averted. Uh, Phil, you promote it too much? Yeah, maybe that. It's getting too popular. I always wondered that. Like, I kind of wondered, like, man, I use this site like multiple hours a day. I wonder if that guy ever like looks at his hosting bill. I don't really know how the application works, so it might be that this none of this is really running on his stuff. This all could be being done client side, maybe. I honestly don't know. That or actually, it's a very cheap thing to host. All right, that completely derailed my focus and my concentration. But we were actually making progress, I think, for a second here. Hey, Duck Boy, how are you, man? Good to see you. Rampla, good morning. Stefan just opened the site. Yes, I tried that, but that didn't seem to work. Whoops. I always do that. Searching the wrong one. Markdown. All right, we're getting close. We're on the trail. We're on the trail. I was playing it. Some good tunes for productiveness based on your recommendation. Awesome, dude. Yeah, it is a. I feel like it's a good. I really can't believe it's free, honestly. But I'm so grateful that it's free. I like lo-fi music in general, but you can't just listen to any lo-fi music on stream, right? Or you get copyright striked, at least on YouTube. So it's really nice that this guy built this thing and was like, hey, you know what? I'll just give it to everybody. It's really nice. Very kind. I'm glad there are people like that in the world. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to figure out how in the world do we get Rust to be okay with the fact that we want to consume the markdown content value that we have here. And that is what I was trying to go to Google to figure out. So if I borrow here, which I need to do to satisfy the signature of the method, then everyone gets upset because a temporary value is here, but that I'm trying to return it out of the function here. So cannot return a value referencing. So I want to see what Google has to say about this. And then if Google can't help me, we'll go to AI. Let's see. I was asking whether the most fundamental problem is trying to return a reference to a static string when you don't have such a thing. You can box leak a string, but well, you've memory leaked it. You can try to remember the later code. That doesn't seem quite what I'm doing. So I think this has to be lifted up. So I think let me try this. Let me just try. I think this needs to be part of the actual state. So let's see if I can do that. So let me ask you guys this. Is there a way in Rust that I can basically derive one field from another? So what I mean by this is like basically I think what I need to do is I think I need to have a field on here called Markdown. Yeah, Markdown basically. And or maybe it needs to exist on each of the files because each of the files has content. So I think what I need is I basically need like a Markdown, which is of type vec Markdown items. And then this has to be, well, wait a second. Let me just do this. Before we do that, just to test my theory, let's set that up on the state here. And let's do Markdown equals vec of Markdown content, Markdown item. And then what I'm going to do is kind of like in their example, I'm going to set this I don't know exactly when I'm gonna set it. Yeah, I don't know when exactly I'm gonna set it, but I am gonna do this. I'm gonna say state dot markdown. Yeah. So this is like some sort of lifetime issue or something. So now everyone's perfectly okay with it. Now there's nothing in this markdown content, right? So what we have to basically do is we have to figure a way to keep the markdown content in sync with the because right now I don't think we have we just have a reference to state, and so I guess in our update function, let's see, update. So in our updates function, we can mutate the state. I guess for now, what I'll do is I'll just see if I can render this, and then we'll need to figure out how exactly we go about keeping the state of the file in sync with the markdown we want to preview. But for right now, what I'll do is I'll just say markdown equals markdown parse, I think, parse, and we'll just parse in some text, which is going to be hi, or let's do good morning chat. Like that. You're angry because why? Because I need to do collect. All right, so let's see if that works. I don't know what this is going to look like, but let's see if it works. What a pain in the butt. Need to mark down what monuments you are going to prioritize this what? What are you talking about, Bob Shredder? I have no idea, man. It's random. Aerobic, yo, 3-digit concurrent watchers? Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot for me. Bob Shredder, you need to learn the real Rust twin. The one with the rock and torch. Bob Shredder, are you kind of a troll here? Hey, look, it works. It works. Very cool. So now what we need to do is we need to switch on when we show that markdown. So we need to say markdown preview. And then what we need to do is instead of putting this in an editor container, we basically need to create a markdown container. So let markdown container equals markdown. Like this. And then we'll say markdown preview. We'll say editor. And then we'll basically just, I guess, conditionally put them in the thing. Can you do that? So let middle equals if state.mode. I guess we should match state.mode. And we say, okay, if we're editing, then we return editor container, and if we're previewing, we return the preview. I'm actually going to rename this to preview container. I'm actually going to rename this to main. Okay, somebody's not happy. Type annotations needed for iced. Oh. Well, how'd that happen? Now everyone's happy. So let's run this again and see if we can toggle between Markdown and editing. Coding is still cool, though. You guys build the backbone of a lot of stuff. Oh, thanks, Bob. I appreciate you appreciating coding. Good morning, Ulas. Good to see you, man. How you doing? Ariad, hi. I'm new. What code editor are you using currently? I'm currently using NeoVim. So that's what this is in this tab over here is NeoVim. But I use Visual Studio Code. I use Visual Studio. I use Writer. I kind of bounce around between editors just based on kind of vibes that day. But NeoVim's been a lot of fun to use for the last. I just started using NeoVim like 12 months ago, like about a year ago. So I'm still relatively new to it, but it's been fun. All right, and then let's try to preview. Looky there. Okay, cool. So then we want to toggle the preview off. Okay, so the one thing is I'm playing a little bit of a game here because they're not really in sync, right? So this is not. If I change this to like hello world, right? And I preview this, I'm actually not really previewing the contents of the file. I'm just previewing some static text. And so basically what I want to figure out is how can I have maybe a method is the right answer to this, but basically the content, the markdown is derived from the content or the text in this content field, right? So it doesn't make sense to have two fields that are storing, like we have a field that's always storing the text and we have a field that's always storing the markdown equivalent of it, because then I have to remember to keep the two in sync always. What I really want is I just want to, whenever I want the markdown from the file, I want to just derive the markdown from the text. But I'm not sure I know how to accomplish that. So this is how I think I should do it. And I'm guessing I'm going to run into some sort of lifetime issue or some sort of borrowing or ownership issue. So I think what I need to do is I need to say implement how do I do this? Implement something. I forgot how to do this. I basically want to implement a method on each instance of the file. Rust. Implement method on each instance of a struct. Okay, so we do impl file. And now we have access to the self, right? So this is where I'm going to say markdown. And we want to pass in self as the first argument. And we want to get back a vec of markdown items is what we want to get back. And so then my thought is that we can just do what we did down here in the boot method, and we can just do that up here like this. And so I think this will work. Okay, no, somebody's not happy here. And instead of good morning chat, what we should do is we should get self dot content dot text. I think that's what we want. And so then down in our preview, instead of rendering this off the state, we should be able to say current file dot markdown. I knew someone wasn't going to be happy. Temporary value created here. Damn. Okay, so this is okay, so what I'm up against right now is I'm up against some Rust ownership concept that I don't quite understand. Because I think what's happening is I'm creating a value that the compiler doesn't know is going to live longer than cannot return value referencing temporary value, returns a value referencing data owned by the current function. Yeah, so basically I'm returning ownership, or I'm returning data from this function that includes data that's owned by the current function. I think this is where I'm going to have to go on a little bit of spelunking on the YouTubes or on the Googles and the AIs, because I'm not sure. Again, this works, right? But I think this works because Markdown lives on state, right? Yeah, I think that's why it works. Now I could do something like this where I could say, okay, well, can I make Markdown a method? And then what Markdown does is very similar, but now we're doing it on right? So could I do this? I see chat moving out of the corner of my eye. One sec. Let me finish this thought real quick. So then what we'd have to do is we'd have to say, okay, no longer do we need that. We have to say let current file equals state dot file, self dot files state dot current, self dot current file. And then we'd have to do something like current file dot content dot text. I just gotta dereference it. Cannot move out of index. Move occurs because value has type file, which does not implement the copy trait. Okay, so that means everyone's happy there. But I'm still running into the same issue. So fundamentally it's the same issue. Regardless of where I define this thing, I run into the same problem. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get some help with this. I think I can fix this if I just kept the markdown in sync, but that seems like very error prone because I'm gonna forget to update the markdown. Like if I have the markdown on the state, I'm gonna somewhere along the line I'm gonna forget to update this. And then I'm gonna have state in the file that doesn't match what's being rendered on the preview for that particular file, and that's gonna be troublesome. So we need to resolve this a different way. Oh, someone's trying to help me in chat. Sorry, guys, I was ignoring y'all. Let me catch up for a second. Stiff skier. The reference to live for static. You can't usually return a reference to a value created inside a function, as when the function scope goes out of memory, that is freed. Yeah, that's what I thought I was. That's what I think I'm dealing with. For Rust, think of it this way: if the function you are calling is called inside a function, you are most always cool. But if the function you are calling invokes a thread or a green thread, you need... Oh, okay, so that's how to finish. This is why in Rust you see a lot of states and context structs, because the context lives enough for the context of the program usually. Yeah, so that's why it must be okay for me to reference a field on the state versus trying to create some variable from that state. Good morning, Oblivious. Stiff scare. How are you parsing the markdown? Are you using a library or you made your own AST? Oh no, I'm using a library. That's how all the rendering on the screen, that's all from a GUI library. Stiff scare. You appeared in my YouTube shorts quite a few times now. Interested in what you do? Looks cool. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate you stopping by to see what I'm doing. I literally just show up each morning for a couple hours and I just kind of build. Right now we're trying to learn Rust, and so that's what we're using to build. Aerobic. You're making a notes app? Yes. Yep. I thought that would be a good kind of simple first time rusting app to build. And so far it's been fun. It's definitely been a good opportunity to learn more about Rust and the ownership and the borrow checker and all the things that make Rust Rust. Obviously I'm still like a little baby crab, but it's been good. Yeah, I'm having fun. And hopefully at the end of this I'll have a piece of software that I actually enjoy using, you know? I don't think I'm going to continue rusting for like too much longer, but we'll see. We'll see how long this is going to go on for. Maybe another week, maybe less. There's other stuff I want to do this year, so I don't want to get bogged down, stuck learning Rust. All right, I think I'm going to talk to Copilot about this. And specifically, I think I'm just going to talk. Yeah, I'll just talk to Gemini. That's fine. All right. I'm learning Rust for the first time. And I'm currently stuck on an issue that I can't figure out the right way to handle, given the ownership concept in Rust. Essentially, I have a state. I have an instance of a struct that represents the state of my application. This state holds a field called well, I'll just boil this down. This state holds a list of structs and each struct holds some text. That's the simple way to put it. I want to define a method on each of these structs that allows me to parse that text and return it as a list of markdown item structs. The problem I am having is that when I call this method within a function and then try to return, I could probably put my code in here too. Maybe that's a better way to prompt this thing. Let's add a, no, can I upload from my computer? Yeah, let's try to upload it from my computer. This is probably a better way to do it. Repositories, and let's see. This guy. Yeah, this way I can actually reference the content in these files. I've attached the code that I'm having the issue with to this prompt in main.rs. Okay, so I have the state struct that has the files field. In the view function, I am trying to get the current file and then call the markdown method on that file to pass the result to the markdown widget from the iced library. This widget then gets returned. I'm currently being told by the compiler this is bad. See below for error. Muy malo. The compiler says this is very, very bad. It says do not do this. Oh, whoops, I gave it the wrong version of the file. That's not helpful, Steven. Go there. Set this over here. Put that there. And then let's clear this. Let's upload the proper one. It'd probably be helpful too to give it the context of the ICE library. So we'll see if we can do that. Repositories, iced. There we go. Please, Gemini, help me. Or I guess I should probably address this. Please, Copilot, help me. You are my only hope. I hear that that's the trick to getting really good results from LLMs, is you have to act pretty desperate and helpless. Is there a Discord server? Yeah, if you type !Discord, my bot will send you the link. It's just discord.stevenfreeborn.com. Let's see, I usually write HTTP servers in Rust. It's fast and easy. Actix, which is an actor framework, handles the context and props like a champ. Nice, I'll have to give that a try. I've not done very much with Rust, so Thank you very much for the recommendation. I had somebody recommend a TUI library yesterday to me, so I guess I've got a few Rust projects I need to try to build. If you want to do a computer app like this, Rust is good, but it would not want to write your HTTP server in Rust. Oh, I haven't done anything that's been asynchronous in Rust yet, so I'm not sure. No, I don't want you to open a pull request. I just want you to explain to me what the problem is. Oh, you last. I also added a Telegram channel, like you asked for. Whoops. I posted the wrong thing to the wrong place. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Twitch. That's my bad. Telegram at ULAS. There you go. Again, I don't know, I don't really know what to do with Telegram ULAS, so you have to help me. This is class Rust ownership issue that almost everyone runs into. It happens. Awesome. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so here's currently what's happening in memory. Current file.markdown is called. Okay. It returns parse and creates a brand new vec markdown item. This is a temporary value. You pass a reference ampersand to this temporary vector into Markdown View. Markdown View creates a widget that holds onto that reference. The line of code ends. Rust cleans up memory values. The vec is dropped. So this is exactly what I thought was happening. So I do have some. I'm picking up on some of this ownership stuff. The widget you just created is now holding a reference to deleted memory. Rust prevents the safety violation with error E0515. W for Rust. Thank you for protecting me from myself. I appreciate you. The solution to fix this, the list of markdown items needs to live as long as your application state, not just for the split second the view function runs. You should store the parsed markdown in your file struct and update it whenever the text changes. Here's how to apply. Well, I know the thing is, I know I can do that, but that's so ugly. Like, now I'm keeping two things in sync when one is technically derived from the other. See, update the file helper. You can remove the old markdown method since we will access the field directly, or change it to a helper that updates the field. And then in the update function, yeah, see, this is annoying. So now I have two different places where I have to remember, like, oh yeah, remember you got to set the content. Computing derived state and storing it alongside this pattern, computing derived state and storing it alongside the source data, is very common in Rust UIs to satisfy ownership rules. It just seems like an anti-pattern. I understand why I guess I understand why you have to do that, but there's got to be a cleaner way to write this code. Okay, I knew that this was an option. But this seems like bad code to me, or at the very least seems like code that could very easily lead to bugs because a file's markdown and its content become out of sync. Is there no way you can solve this type of issue in Rust using some form of derived state? What I mean by this is that the current markdown of any file at any given time should always just reflect what its content is. I'm gonna bend Rust to my will. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to do this. I'm guessing it just requires advanced knowledge of Rust that I don't have, you know? Like, I'm sure library authors have to deal with this kind of stuff all the time. I don't know why my mic seems like it's peaking. Hmm. No, didn't change my levels or nothing. You last. So we could talk from Telegram rather than Discord since it's easier to reach. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I understand because you guys can't get to Discord, or if you are somebody who can't get to Discord. So yeah, I just more meant like if I don't do the right things on Telegram, or if there's something I'm supposed to be doing over on Telegram, just let me know. Let's see. You are absolutely right to be concerned about state synchronization bugs. It's a very mature instinct to have. Oh, thank you, Copilot. Copilot called me mature. The sycophancy in these LLMs, just they need to rip it out. In many languages, we rely on computed properties to avoid this. However, in Rust, we have a constraint. The view is a borrower. Markdown view widget requires a reference slice that must live longer than the function call itself. Every time you call text, and parsing generates a new vec. There's no way to derive this in the view function without something owning that data alive elsewhere. You can solve this ownership issue and solve your fear of desynchronized state by using encapsulation. Instead of leaving the fields public and risky, we make them private and force all updates through a single method. This guarantees they're never out of sync. Here is how you refactor your code. Okay, make the fields private so they can't be touched directly. Add a method to access the parsed markdown safely. What? The cache is now an implementation detail, not a public burden. A helper to update both content and cache simultaneously. Expose specific actions that maintain the invariant. We reparse immediately after the edit, ensuring they are never out of sync. From content. Huh. I have to say I don't fuck with this, but like I understand what they're saying. I understand 100% what he's recommending. I prefer this over the other recommendation that he had, or that Copilot had. I don't know why I'm gendering Copilot to a man, but I I'm okay with what Copilot's ideas are here. I think I prefer this option to the other option. I just think anywhere where we're forced to maintain two separate pieces of data, but one is technically always a different way to represent the other. Having them be disconnected like that doesn't feel good. Okay, we can pursue this path. We can pursue this path. This will be fine. Deep code LOL. LOL what? You're LOLing at the LLM? Stiff skier. I hate how AI will tell you you are the best engineer in the world and tell you you are correct in everything. Something will explode. It will still validate you as how it's not your fault and say sorry. Yeah, they're sycophantic, man. There's crazy amounts of sycophancy in the LLMs. It's a real issue. If I can get into the Discord server, I will write a message to help understand lifetimes in the way I understood them and resources to learn Rust. Oh, that'd be great, man. Sorry, let me allow you to pop into the Discord and spread your knowledge to us all. There's a coding channel. That's probably the best channel to put it in. There you go, sir. You are in the Discord. We are going to try to pursue Copilot's recommendations. I'm sort of skeptical that this option is going to work, but we're going to see.
I'd like to say something.
Let's rust again, like it's 30 years later.
Thanks for redeeming the text-to-speech reward, man. That was very nice of you. I love text-to-speech. Text-to-speech is like the funniest part of any stream. Deep code, bro. I want to learn Rust too. Where can I start from? It sounds like Stiffskier's got some good ideas. If you want to join the Discord, he said he was going to drop some links and stuff. I'll just tell you what I've been doing, and maybe that'll be helpful. Deep code. So I've been using. Well, one, I've been building this project. So I've been basically using the project as a way to drive what it is I don't know. Right. So this is a good example of where it's like I understand the programming problem I'm trying to solve because I know how to solve it in 2 or 3 other languages, but I don't know how to solve it in Rust. And so I think through building a project, it gives you concrete problems that then can help drive your learning. The other thing I've been using, the other 2 resources that I've been using to learn Rust is I've been using something called Rustlings. Where is it? Rustlings. Yeah. Whoops. Rustlings. I'll put the link in the chat. Also, I think I've been ignoring Twitch chat, and I apologize. Deep code. So that's Rustlings, and then the other thing I've been using is something called the Rust programming, Rust language book. I think is what it's called. Yeah, the Rust programming language, and this is kind of like the official, I guess, the official kind of like reference manual of Rust. So that's what those are the 2 resources I've been using. I also link to them in the description of the stream if you're curious as well. Yes, the book is very good. If you read it all, you are able to do most things already. Nice. That's good to know. I just think sometimes reading a book is very different from like knowing that you have a concrete example of something, right? Like sometimes when you read a book, the concepts that are presented to you are so abstract or are presented in an abstract way that it's difficult for you to really grok it. And so sometimes when you have like a concrete thing that illustrates like, oh, I'm trying to do XYZ in this very specific application that I want, that sometimes can be a better driver of understanding in my experience when it comes to learning things. So I think that's why it helps to kind of do a mixed approach where like you're consuming some sort of like formal material, but you're also trying to then go and implement what you learn or figure out what you don't know through building something. Holes CS study. Someone with 30 years old that only have fluent English should be able to be a programmer nowadays. Someone with 30 years old that only have fluent English, should they be able? I don't honestly know. Everybody that I've seen be really good at vibe coding, which is I guess what you're trying to say. Um, Holes is you're trying to say basically like because of LLMs, you don't need to know like an actual programming language. You can just use natural language. But everybody that I've seen that can actually use the LLMs to do really good engineering is also a very good engineer themselves. Because they know the right vernacular, the right vocabulary to use to describe what they want from the LLM. So I'm not sure just being fluent in English is probably enough to be a programmer. That's my intuition at the moment. I could be wrong though. You seriously not have the best chat? You don't think the chat's a good chat, Ulas? What did I miss from the past few days? Hey, Charles, good to see you, man. All we did really the last couple days was continue to learn Rust. Yeah, nothing. You didn't really miss nothing crazy. Stiff Skier. The book gives examples and is meant to be followed with your editor. There is a tried out sections. It's called a book just because the tool it's called MD book and is made by the Rustling. Nice. Yeah, I don't think that there's anything wrong with the book. I just think that sometimes it's helpful to combine a academic exercise with a real world exercise. I feel like you get a lot more from project based learning than you do from just reading a book myself. But if you're different, that's fine too. Artwork Studios. Before I go, a book like concrete powder, which will provide a base for you, but you need to add the water to make it solid. A book like concrete powder will provide a base for you, but you're basically saying like that's an analogy. Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I've just found that like I mean I have a college degree, and I've taught myself how to program, and I've taught myself a lot of things over the years, and I've always found that just having real world applications of said knowledge oftentimes lead to me retaining that knowledge better. Doesn't mean that's how it works for everybody. I'm just saying that's how it works for me. Hey, what's up, Oblivious? I don't know if you watched earlier, but I did get all those Twitch rewards we talked about yesterday wired up over on the Twitch channel. So you can use channel points for text to speech, and there's also a hydrate reward now. Mikias, advice for a third year loser CS student in a developing country. Oh man, don't refer to yourself like that. You're not a loser. Yeah, dude, you're not a loser. Positive self-talk. I don't know if I have good advice, just because obviously my situation and your situation are probably very, very different. And I'm not really sure what you're trying to accomplish with your life, so the advice I give you is probably not going to be great. I just want to encourage you, like whatever it is you're trying to do. I'm rooting for you. I believe you can do it. If there's more specific questions you have, I'm happy to answer. But I hate to give advice that's really, really out of context. You know, Maddie, I wish more folks would be here to chat instead of YouTube. Yeah, I just think that it's going to take time. You know, my YouTube was very, very slow to grow over the last 12 months, and I think Twitch will be the same way. Hopefully, Twitch will grow over time. I think the thing with Twitch is there's no way to get like algorithmically discovered on Twitch, but on YouTube I can stream to the Shorts channel or the vertical feed, and I get some algorithmic discovery happening, which I think helps the chat and it helps the growth of the channel. But Twitch just has no tools for that, and I think that's unfortunate. Wow, you've been doing this since you were 12 years old, Stiff Skier? That's crazy. That's very, very impressive. 12 is a 12 at 12 years old. The only things I cared about were baseball, football, lifting weights. I don't know, hanging out with my friends. I did not care about programming at 12. All right, let's get this working. Let's get this working. So we are going to move this out of here because that doesn't work. We're going to move you from here to there. Let's see, default is going to be Markdown is going to be back new. Okay. And now everyone's going to get really angry. with me. I have to clean up all the errors. No method markdown, missing structure. Yep, we're gonna fix that. Missing field markdown. No method name markdown. So this will be parsed. Or no, this will be markdown now. Like that. And so then what we have to do is we have to go make sure we keep that markdown set. So the way we're going to do this in 2 places right now, but then eventually we're going to refactor this. We're going to do current file dot parsed or dot markdown, sorry, equals markdown parse current file dot content dot text dot collect. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to say markdown equals markdown parse content dot collect. Okay. It's kind of frustrating though, like, because I definitely could have solved that myself. Like Copilot just gave me the answer that I already had, but I thought there was going to be some more clever way to do this. But unfortunately, the answer to my question of there's got to be a more clever way to do this was nope. This is the way Rust works. You're stuck with it. Charles, you're learning C#. Let's go, man. Charles, I promise, we're gonna switch back over to C# here not too long. We're not gonna stay on this Rust kick for very much longer. We're gonna build two fairly large projects this year using C#. Actually, probably 3 fairly large projects this year using C#. So let's do that. And then now what I should be able to do is I should be able to do preview. And then I should be able to toggle that. And I should be able to do some code. Line. Hello world. Preview. Hey, looky there. Let's go. They don't have syntax highlighting. That would be nice. And I guess it would probably also be nice to be able to... It would probably be nice to be able to change the font of this guy, too. That would probably be a nice thing to be able to do. So maybe that's another feature we add. But this is basically the functionality I was looking for. So... This is some normal text. Quote. What else? Let's go. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Then we can save it. Let's say first markdown file.md. Save. And then if we want to close that window, we can open it back up. And if we preview it, hey, looky there. I love it. I love it. Okay, we have lots of styling to do. We still need to make the file operations asynchronous. I think we know exactly what we need to make all that stuff happen. Because we already talked about it before, or we know roughly what we need to do to make it happen because we've already kind of gone down those rabbit holes. We do need to change this so that this indicates we're toggling the preview. And then I think it strikes me as a little odd that these actions are below the tabs, but maybe that's just because of the way my thing is currently styled. So maybe we can fix that. All right. Let's add a keybind real quick and let's update them. Let's add a keybind for this and let's update the display of that real quick. I changed my name, by the way. Oh, are you Martin? Imjerta? Are you Martin originally? Or was your username originally Martin? Yeah, yeah. Good to see you, man. Yeah, totally fine to change your username. I try to go off username or profile picture if I can keep track of you guys. Like, I try to recognize folks who come back to my streams more than a handful of times. Let's see. Is Rust hard? I don't know if Rust is necessarily hard. I think it's very foreign, right? I could not join the chat for 5 minutes. Weird enough. Oh, I wonder if it's because of the username change. Maybe that's how YouTube keep tracks of that kind of stuff. I don't. But what I was going to say to your question is Rust hard. I don't think Rust is necessarily hard. I think it's just different, right? It's very different. And it's particularly when it comes to the memory management side, the ownership side. That's constantly every time I've had a frustrating moment in Rust, it's been I'm dealing with ownership. And I think that just takes time, right? It just takes time to get good at dealing with it. Good morning, Noku. Good to see you. It is not late over there. It is 5:51 a.m. So if you find me streaming, it's probably very early in the morning. Deep code. I often try learning a new language by jumping straight into a project instead of watching tutorials, but midway I feel stuck. I realize I lack fundamentals, get confused, and end up dropping the project. I mean, I feel like that's I guess what I would say to that deep code is like that is definitely how that experience goes, but you have to not get frustrated with that. You have to use whenever you get to a point in a project where you don't have enough information to solve the problem, that's when like you pause the project, you go do your research and your learning, right? And then you come back to the project and apply what you learned. And I think honestly, I think that workflow far more mimics the real work of what you do as an engineer than just learning everything in one shot and then being able to apply it in one shot. Like I just myself, a lot of the work I've ever done with code has never involved just like it has never involved not having to look things up. You know, like you're gonna have new libraries, new APIs, new services, new paradigms, new problems to solve, right? And you're gonna have to go on a little bit of like a research expedition most of the time. So to me, it kind of makes sense to use project-based learning because it simulates a lot of the experience you're going to have in the job anyways. But I understand your experience of getting confused or feeling frustrated. That is definitely a thing. Stiffskier, well, I will be logging off. Hope to see you more around here with Rust. Oh, for sure, Stiffskier. Thank you for all your help. I don't know how much more Rust I'm going to do in 2026. At some point, I'm switching back over to .NET for a foreseeable C# and TypeScript for some larger projects for 2026. But maybe I'll come up with some smaller tools or stuff that I can continue to explore Rust with after we get through what we're doing here. That's so early. It is very early, Noku, but it's the best time to be able to stream uninterrupted. You know, there's no other point in my day where I can stream for long periods of time without completely ignoring other responsibilities in my life, whether they be work or kids or my wife. So getting up super early is really easy to stream because there's nothing there's nothing competing with that activity. Mjorda, nice. Let's go. Like your channel. Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I'm glad you enjoy the channel. But yeah, we're gonna get back into the .NET C# sphere after too long. Stiff-SKU Rust is not very different than C++. It just enforces RAII, but C++ doesn't, even though it does RAII. RAII came up as a pattern when we were reading the Rust book. I don't remember what it stands for, but I've never written any C++, so maybe that also compounds my why I think Rust feels foreign, because I've never written much C++. I've never written C++ or C or assembly or any real low level thing like that. I've written C#, Go, TypeScript, and JavaScript, and Python. Those are the languages I have the most lines of code written in. Let's see, RAI C++. It stands for something. What was it? Resource acquisition is initialization. There we go. Yeah, that came up while we were reading the Rust book at some point. But I've never, again, like I said, I've never written any C++, so that concept was, again, foreign to me. Charles, when I create a project, it will go well for a while, then I run out of ideas. Well, I mean, I think all software should have some sort of life cycle to it, right? Like not everything you built is meant to be a fully fleshed out shippable project, right? Some things are just you just build them to learn, or you just build them to explore a problem, right? Like they're not things some things are not meant to be long-lived stuff. I've written a lot of code just to throw the code away, right? When I can't figure something out or I can't understand something, yeah, I just boil it down to like the minimal reproducible examples. And so I've written a lot of code that the only point of the code was to figure out why I was so confused, and then I never looked at the code again. So I don't think there's anything wrong with letting projects die on the vine. You don't need to feel married to a project. I will say you should probably, if you start a project, you should try to get that project to like what you would consider complete, right? Like it accomplished what you set out to accomplish. But I don't think you need to stay married to every project you start. Good morning, Voltaire. How are you? Deep code, thanks, man. Thought I was the only one on the boat, and it was like feeling I am dumb. You are not the only one on the boat, and you are not dumb. Yeah, some people pick up things faster than others, and some people have a more natural aptitude for things. But um, I believe we can all learn and do just about anything we set our mind to. Might take us longer, and we might not be as good, right? I might not ever be as good of a programmer as John Carmack, but I do believe I can be a good programmer, you know? Good morning, 6-7 Alaska. Are there any certs to be achieved for C#? There is one on Free Code Camp's website, Imjerda, which I don't know. Do you want me to still call you Martin, or what do you want me to call you now that you changed your username? I don't want to refer to you as something you don't like. There is one on Free Code Camp's website. I don't think certifications matter a whole lot, but if you'd like to have a certification, Free Code Camp did partner with they partnered with Microsoft to offer a foundational C# certification, which maybe you've already done it, but this is Free Code Camp's offering in that neck of the woods. It's like in one go. Well, I'm gonna have to ask Google Translate how to pronounce it. You might take a look at this. I went through this course. I thought it was a good course. Obviously, if you're not like a complete C# noob, it might be really, really easy for you. But I found it helpful. Let's see. Let's see if I can get... actually, I'll just use SpeakerBot to help me say it. I guess I use Google Translate.
Mierda.
Mierda? Does that make sense? Is it really Serbian?
Mierda. Mierda.
Mierda. Okay, I can call you that. It's important to me that I try my best to get people's names right. Because my name is spelled really funny and people have always gotten it wrong. So I try to make a good effort to get people's names right. Mierda in Spanish. But isn't mierda in Spanish? Isn't that I mean my Spanish is pretty rusty, but shit. Yeah, that's I was gonna say. So does it mean something different in Serbian? Because I don't want to just go around calling or saying shit on stream. Yeah, that's what I thought it meant. Yeah. Uh, it's just how they said it to me. Ah, huh. Fair enough. Fair enough, man. Let's see. What cool thing you could do in C# rather than just console apps and library things? I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think a language's value is based on what you can or can't do in it, right? I think a lot of times programming languages values just come down to preference, especially in 2026. I think most things you want to build, most things you want to accomplish can be probably accomplished in the language of your choice. My favorite thing to build in C# is web APIs. I feel like C# has one of the best experiences um, for building APIs, right? Like if you're going to build up, if you want to build a separate backend from a bunch of different clients, like you want to have a mobile app, a desktop app, a web app, and you want to all fetch data from a single backend, I think the API would be awesome to write in C#. I think they have a really, really good experience there. CLIs are good. Library stuff's good. Background workers, anything you're doing server side is usually pretty pleasing to write in C# in my opinion. I understand people don't care for using it to do stuff on the client in web development, and some people say that authoring like native apps in it isn't super great. But I don't have much experience authoring native apps in general, so I can't really speak to it. You can do games in C#. That's a good one to point out. Yep, Unity, right? Unity, and I think Godot, Godot, also you support C#. I'm not a big game dev person, but I know a lot of people. I know that's a big percentage of users of C#, especially younger C# users. I think if you split C# based on age, like in demographics, I would say a lot of the younger people who are using C# are probably using it for game dev. But hopefully that changes more and more. Hopefully more people get into C# earlier. Good morning, Uncle Pee Wee. Thanks for using the emotes, man. Appreciate you. I just started to do Advent of Code in it. Nice. Very cool. Let's see, Nori. Bro, how do I download Tailwind package? I'm using Arch. I don't know. The terminal is showing errors. I've always just installed Tailwind through npm, Nori. Every time I've ever used Tailwind, I just have, your basic. I pretty much only use Node in my JavaScript development. So I don't use Bun or Dino or any of those other runtimes really. So I usually just have, my repository, and my at the root of my repository is a package file, and I usually just run npm install Tailwind and set up my Tailwind config and go off to the races. If I had to guess, Nori, I'd probably go to the Tailwind docs. I bet the Tailwind docs have like a.
I'd like to say something.
Uncle Pee-wee is reminding you to hydrate. Everybody clap your hands.
Uncle Pee-wee has some channel points to redeem. I drank. I hydrated. Thank you, Uncle Pee-wee, for redeeming your points. Crew, today's chatting stream? Oh, no, I was just taking a break. I was just pausing for a second, catching up on chat. I actually use Godot, but I'm struggling with C# side. That's fair. I don't know how many people use C# in Godot versus GD script. But yeah, I don't think C#'s too terribly hard of a language to learn, you know. I would say C# is probably a little bit easier to pick up than something like Rust. I think it just takes time though. With any language, it just takes time. Lots of practice, lots of reps. Okay,
Uncle
thanks.
Pee-wee is reminding you to hydrate.
Oh no, I gotta drink again.
Uncle Pee-wee is reminding you to hydrate. Uncle Pee-wee is reminding you to hydrate.
I think Uncle Pee-wee has a lot of channel points stored up. Duckboy, you got super chat? Yeah, there's super
Did we
chat.
just become best friends?
Crew, thank you for following me.
Charles5432 is reminding you to hydrate.
Oh my gosh. I probably should have put a limit on this hydrate command. Yeah, there probably should. Pee-wee, Uncle Pee-wee's like, wait a minute. There is not a time limit. I probably should put one on there. That or I should increase the number of points. I really don't mind it. It's probably good. It's probably best for me to hydrate. Duckboy, there is super chat. Yep, there is super chat. So I think you can do super chat through YouTube for $1. You can do, or text to speech through super chat for $1. You can do text to speech on Twitch using bits. I can't remember how many bits. And then you can also go to a website I built called Grounds for Support, and you can also do text to speech through there too as well. Which the only person who's ever done it has been Bob, but you can do it. Or you can go to Twitch and you can just do it for free with channel points. But yeah, I think you have to earn channel points through doing certain things on Twitch. I'm not sure what you have to do.
Jack is reminding you to hydrate.
Hey, what's up, Bob? Yes, Bob has been mentioned. Bob has been mentioned.
Charles5432 is reminding you to hydrate.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go over there. I'm gonna have to go over there and set the time limit on that thing. Oh, why didn't
Freeborn7 is reminding you to hydrate.
That's my wife. Thank you, honey. Thank you for reminding me to hydrate.
Uncle Pee-wee is reminding you to hydrate.
Now I'm gonna choke because I'm laughing and trying to drink at the same time. We are supposed to get up to 8 to 14 inches of snow. Damn. My wife would love that. Kelsey would love that. We got some snow here. We got some snow here. 100 points is so easy to get. Is it really? Okay, well, we need to then probably increase that. That was just what Twitch recommended, okay? Charles, it's probably enough water. Yeah. Here, I'll tweak this. I like how chat is like treating me like a
Krupanjak is reminding you to hydrate.
Shit. You can tell I'm kind of new to this whole Twitch thing, huh? Yeah, that's funny. All right, we did maybe
Krupanjak is reminding you to hydrate.
I think people have been storing up points on their Twitch accounts. Here, we'll double it.
Bob is reminding you to urinate after excessive hydration. Uncle Pee-wee is reminding you to hydrate.
There should be a coffee thing like the hydrate one. Oh, that's a good idea. That's actually a really good idea. Okay, hold on. Let me add a new one. Oh, but I can't. I have to set that all up in StreamerBot. But yeah. Well, hold on. Let me take that down as a note, and I'll add that. That's really funny. You. Thank you, Bob, very much, man, for the super. I appreciate you. Let's see. Let's use my app to take a note to remind me to set up a Twitch points reward for drinking coffee, similar to the hydrate. We'll call it caffeinate. We'll have hydrate and caffeinate. And should we? And according to Bob's message, we should also have a urinate one. Oh my goodness. That is too funny. I appreciate you guys making streams fun. This is amazing. I increased it. I increased the point redemption, but yes, it is amazing. Good morning, reps. Hi, I am late. You're not late, man. You're right on time. Don't you know that? That's like all wizards, right? Wizards are never late. They're never early. They arrive precisely when they mean to. Rayax, morning. Good morning, Rayax. What make you this?
Charles 5432 is reminding you to hydrate.
Okay, so this is going to be just like a stream where everyone drains all their channel points that they've been storing up for the last several months. Reps, to answer your question, it's really nothing. I could redeem at least 12 more. Oh my goodness. Well, then I'd have to be getting up to go pee all the time. Yeah. So your question about what makes you this consistent, like waking up this early every day and learning to code? Well, my wife, I think, is still in the chat, but I think one of my, and I think she would agree with this, but I think one of my superpowers in life is I'm very good at being consistent at things. And I tend to really, really thrive with a routine and habit, like habitual routine. And so once I think you should have a take a break one. Okay, I like that. I like all these ideas for Twitch rewards. We can do that, Kels. Let me add that. But yeah, so one of the things I'm very good at is being consistent. So once I decide I'm going to do something, it's pretty trivial for me to stick with it. And then combine that with the fact that I really, really enjoy programming and coding, and I really enjoy learning. It just makes it super easy to wake up and come down here and play with code and learn and try to build stuff and get better. And then I also get to talk to you guys, and you all make me better a lot of times. So take a break reward, or maybe like we could also do like a chat time reward or something like that. I think those would be good. Did you manage to fix that Markdown view? Yeah, we actually did. We got it working. So watch this. So we can now do a new file, and we can do something like this. So we can say, good morning, chat. And we can actually put some Markdown in here. So let's say, good morning, chat. I am glad you all are here for these reasons. And we can do an unordered list. Streams are more fun when I'm not alone. I am feeling well hydrated now. Nothing better than learning and coding. And then we can do view preview, and now it will render. I mean, obviously, I know this is not super pretty, and there's probably some formatting and stuff, like the font's wrong. Like you can clearly see these are not the same fonts, so we need to fix that. And it would also be nice if we could increase and decrease the font the same way we can when we're in edit mode. But we have the ability. We can also do code, I think, so we can do code blocks. So I could write some C# here. And we can do like console.writeLine, hello world. And we can preview it like this. Now there's no highlighting, but I think I can add highlighting. So let's see if we can fix that. Can I have a suggestion? Can you add like at least a custom background color to the Notepad app, Charles? Yeah, I'm sure we can. I'm sure we could add something like that. What you're building? I've been building like a Notepad alternative to the app. Yeah, themes would be cool. There's some built-in themes, so maybe I could just make the theme configurable. There's some built-in themes for this ICE library that I'm using. That might be the easiest way to do it. They actually have an enum for this right here. So you can actually, so what we could do is we could actually have a thing on the state that tracks what theme you want and then just allow you to change it. They have quite a few too, and I think most of them are fairly recognizable themes. They have dark, but they also have Nord, Light, Farah, Dracula, Moonfly. These are all themes that I've seen in other places. Tokyo Nights in here. Solarized Dark, Solarized Light, Capuchin. Yeah, and then they also have constants too. So we could find ways to define custom palettes. That would be a fun one to do as well. So yeah, that's for sure. We can add that. Let's see. Let's just say like to do. Can we at least make theme configurable? And then maybe even define complete custom. Or maybe, actually what I find is oftentimes what I want to do with themes is like, I want the default version, but I want to tweak one color, right? So maybe like define a complete theme and use a, whoops. And or use existing as starter. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great idea, man. It's a great idea. Not a fan of light mode? Me neither. I do not like light mode. Yeah, I don't want light mode. I have a troubled relationship with slices now. Well, hold on, what? I just got done fixing some errors in a Go Fine GUI app. What was your troubles with slices? What was up with that? Charles, Rust kind of looks like C++. Oh, really? Well, I've never written any C++, so I don't really know, but somebody was in chat earlier saying that Rust was a lot like C++. Sorry, Bob, I missed your message. Lord of the Rings extended editions are in theater right now. I've been trying to get someone to go with me, but people don't want to sit through a 3.5-hour movie. I told Bob, it's funny you say that. I told my wife that Lord of the Rings was in theaters this Sunday, and I was like, I'm just going to go by myself. Because I would love to see the part of Lord of the Rings that I would like to see in theaters is I want to see the Battle of Helm's Deep. in Two Towers, or yeah, the Two Towers in theaters. I think that must be an awesome scene to watch on the big screen. Charles, especially the colon syntax. Oh, I like that. I like that piece of the syntax. This right here. This is the first language I've ever used that syntax, and I really like it. My favorite part about Rust, actually, one of my favorite syntactic things that Rust does, and I've started using this in my C# code quite a bit, is I like how they new up objects. Like, I like that this is how you new up a vec. Or you can also, in a lot of cases, you can do like vec from. I don't think that's a real thing, but in a lot of other structs and stuff, you can do vec from, and then you pass in stuff here. So I've started using this in C# where I'll actually make the constructor of my classes private, and then I expose a static method that lets me new them up this way. Because I just think it reads nice. Like, I think it's very readable. Uncle Pee-wee, the ads got you. Oh no, that's the one downside, I guess, of Twitch. Is I think Twitch has a lot more ads than YouTube. Kelsey, the ads are attacking. Oh no. Twitch must have detected people were engaging with all the channel points. I don't even know what the colon do. I think the colon is a way you access like statically associated of that type is what I think they do, right? Because you can access members of things in Rust using the dot operator, but you can also access things with this. And I think the difference here is to use the dot, you need an instance of a type, or you can use the double colon to get access to things that are, I don't know if I'm using this word in the right Rust parlance, but basically are like statically associated with that type, I think is the difference. I was keeping a resource tree in sync with the file system with an FS notifier watcher. Removing items caused ghost copies. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. That does not sound good at all. All right, let's see if we can turn on highlighting in our Markdown. Let's see, you can enable the highlighter feature for syntax highlighting in code blocks. What does it mean by that? Does it mean what does that mean? I wonder if that means that I have to update my cargo file, maybe? Let's see. Does it mean I have to do highlighter? Like that? I'm guessing that's what they meant. Okay, let's try to rebuild it. Blocking for file lock on build directory. What?
I'd like to say something.
Don't you just hate it when your cat wakes you up like this? Meow, 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 meow.
You know what, Uncle Pee-wee? I do just really hate that. It's the worst. I'm allergic to cats, unfortunately. Rex, the double colon operator is also called a scope operator. It accesses names from the inner scope, which means the name to be static, like a module, type, or constant. Oh, okay. That makes sense. So it doesn't. It's not just about necessarily accessing static members on something. I made a huge mess. Hold on one sec. Yeah, we can't have cats, unfortunately. I think cats are cool, but I'm allergic. No, yeah, not allergic to dogs. There's a new bug you can spam by text to speech. Oh, really? I don't think that's a bug. I'm okay with people putting meow, 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 meow in text to speech messages. Text to speech makes me laugh. That's one of my favorite things that happens on other people's streams, and so I was really, really excited when I figured out how to do it on my stream because it brings me so much joy. So much joy. And one of my theories in life is that you should pursue things that bring you joy. Text to speech is expensive. Yeah, for the channel points, yeah. Which I feel like it kind of needs to be though, right? Otherwise it's just like I could understand people getting annoyed by it. So like I think it's like $1 on super. I think it's 600 points on Twitch, and then it's $1. It's $1 everywhere else. Kels, I enjoy bugging you, so I enjoy you bugging me, honey. Oh, we were gonna see if the highlighter feature now works.
Did we just become best friends?
Thank you, RayX, for following on Twitch. Appreciate that. All right, let's see if this works now. So we'll do console.writeLine hello chat. And then we'll do preview. Okay, so that didn't work. So when it says highlighter, it must mean something else, right? Because it says you can enable the highlighter feature for syntax highlighting in code blocks. So highlighter, maybe? The format of some text, a highlighter that highlights nothing. Available on crate feature, advanced crate feature only. Maybe I just need to use it? Is that maybe why? So do I need to actually like highlight this? So let's do or maybe there's a method that I pass this to? Highlight? No. So what does let's see, highlighted equals highlighter. Replace qualified path with use. Syntax highlighter for iced. Highlight, a highlight produced by highlighter. Highlighter, a syntax highlighter. Change line. Highlight line. New. I'm not sure how to use this.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hey, thank you very much for becoming a member. That's super nice of you, man. You guys do not. I want you guys to know too. Like you don't. I say this every time, but y'all do not need to pay me. But I really appreciate you guys being willing to support my channel or my Twitch channel or my YouTube channel. That way, it's very very kind of you. Like I want people to have the option to do it, but I don't expect it. Like that's what I'm trying to communicate. You know. Like if I didn't want you to, I would just disable all that stuff. So I do like appreciate when people do it, but I never expect you guys to do it. So thank you very much. Highlighter in iced. Iced Rust. Custom highlighting. Let's see, I want to make a clone of Obsidian. I basically wanted a mix of the text editor and Markdown components. I'm new to Rust, so I don't know if I'm just approaching this the wrong way, but I don't see how I can implement my own highlighter, and then how can I pass it to the text editor so it takes the settings for the inbuilt highlighter. So it looks like other people have had this same exact idea before. Collection of highlight tokens. Convert highlight into iced format. So it looks like he's using a third-party library to do the highlighting. Or no, to do the tokenization, maybe? I don't see where he's using highlighter though. Oh, this is how he's highlighting his own. So he's implementing his own, I see. Huh. So it's not totally clear to me. Let's see if Copilot can walk me through it. Maybe Copilot can build me a custom solution here. Iced. I tell you what, being able to ask questions about a repository through Copilot makes Copilot worth the $10 a month, in my opinion. Let's see. I'm trying to use the highlighter module in iced, but with the Markdown module, but it's not entirely clear how I make these things play together. I'm a noob, so please explain things to me as if explaining them to someone who is not an expert in Rust or this library. See what it comes up with. Catch up on some chat. May we see the doggo? He's not. He's upstairs with my wife at the moment. I have pictures of him though. Yeah, let me get a picture of him. Actually, I have pictures of him in my Discord. We have a pets channel in the Discord where you're welcome to share your pictures of your fuzzy best friends, your furry and fuzzy best friends. Let's see, pets. This is the last one I shared. This is basically how he spends every day of his life. This is basically what he does every day. So my wife and my kids they all go to school. My wife works at my kids' school, so they all go to school. and me and the dog stay at home, and I work, and he just sleeps all day like this. And then he acts like he has a hard life, but he doesn't have a hard life. He's just like he does, that's all he does. He doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's basically like a cat. He's like a cat. Yeah, he just sleeps. I can send him down, Steven. Oh, no, that's okay, honey. I showed a picture. He's okay. He's probably very excited to have breakfast this morning. ES Vanilla, let me add you to the, while we wait for Gemini to process, let me add you to the, let me add you to the list of members. So we'll go to update lists, and then we have to download our list of members from YouTube because YouTube doesn't let me automate this. Uncle Pee-wee, Discord. Yep, that's the word. If you want to join the Discord, never mind. I can't get him downstairs. He keeps running away. That's okay, honey. Thank you for trying. I think the picture was plenty. Thank you for trying, honey. I'll show him on stream one of these days. He sleeps like a human, so I'm sure trying to wake him up at 4 o'clock in the morning won't go very well. My dog has officially entered his what do you call it? His like old man years, where he basically only wants to do what he wants to do, and if you try to push him to do other things, it's a struggle. He also wants to eat when he wants to eat, so he doesn't like waiting for dinner time. He starts not growling, but he does this thing where he kind of like whines to get your attention, like a real low, like it's like he does one of those when he wants your attention. He's a good guy though. He's a good guy, really good dog. Okay, that's been updated. Let's head back to meld. Okay, you guys are gonna disappear for a second. We're gonna go to, or I'm gonna disappear for a second. One sec. Black screen. Restart the members list. And we have returned from the abyss. All right, let's see if Copilot had enough time to think here. All right, based on the code structure of ICE, getting the highlighter and Markdown modules to work together is designed to be auto-magical, but it relies on a specific feature flag being enabled in your configuration. Here is the explanation of how to set this up, designed for someone new to the library. You don't need to write complex code to connect them. You just need to enable the highlighter feature in your cargo. When this feature is enabled, Markdown parse detects that the highlighter is available. It will automatically colorize any code blocks it finds while parsing. Oh. Well then why... Currently, the ICE Markdown parser uses a specific color theme, usually base 16 ocean, by default when the highlighter feature is enabled. Changing this theme is much more advanced and requires writing a custom Markdown viewer. So for now, you stick with the default beautiful colors. That's fine, but I don't see those colors. Right? We tried that. Maybe I wasn't using the right syntax or something. Cargo run. Let's do some Rust. So we'll do print line hello world. I don't think this worked. Oh, no, it did. Okay. So it just didn't, when the C# code I typed in there just didn't have any tokens that were worth highlighting, I guess. So let's do TypeScript. The TypeScript, and then let's do let's see, function, say hello, takes a stir, which is of type string, returns good morning. That. Hey, that's really cool. Okay, that's really, really cool. So now I just need to make the ability to, I need to prettify the app, right? So I need to work on the styling of the app. Um, and then I want to be able to change the font size of the Markdown thing the same way I can change the edit. Or I would actually like them to be the same font size is what I would like. And I'm guessing I can do that. So I'm guessing in here somewhere there's probably like a style method. Or maybe, let's see, Markdown preview dot explain match map into boot as widget. I'm guessing it's in the settings somewhere. Cool. Well, that's really nice. The highlighter thing is really, really nice. This library is nice. It's not, like I said, it's not the most documented, which, you know, is what it is, but they were upfront and honest about that. I knew what I was getting myself into. Structs. The text styling of some Markdown rendering in view. So how do I provide this?
I like to say something.
My sprinkler goes like this.
I think you broke it. I think you broke text to speech.
And comes back like...
It doesn't know what to do with the repetitive characters. Right, I think I'll be over here now. YouTube chat is annoying. Oh, really? Huh. Well, I'm okay with you guys hanging out in either place. It's completely up to you guys where you want to spend your time. Twitch or YouTube, totally fine. To see the dog join Steven's Discord? Yes. Yes. I'll try to bring him on stream sometime. If you feed him, he will come? Yes, he will. He is very food motivated. Someone said, "Here we go." I love that. I love that you guys have a way to do text to speech on Twitch with the channel points. Now we just need YouTube to be able to provide rewards for XP, because I think YouTube has a similar idea to channel points, but it's called XP. So now we just need a way to convert XP into text to speech on YouTube. Manu OVG. Hello. Should I learn C as first language? I know it's harder than Python. So I have people in chat that have a different opinion than I do on this, on the first language answer. I'm not overly opinionated. I have my opinion, but I'm willing to cede to other people. I think that the biggest and most important thing when you're learning to program is that you enjoy it and are excited about it. So that's why I tend to encourage people to go to Free Code Camp and start with JavaScript, is because you can almost immediately start getting feedback as part of your learning journey. And you can actually see, like, you can see the results of your code, and you can start building things that other people can interact with and you can interact with. And so there's a very small feedback loop. I also think this is why CS50 starts their courses using Scratch, which is a visual programming language. Because I think it's very important to like try to figure out if you can get yourself hooked on that feedback loop, because that's what will keep you around long enough to become good, right? And my concern with when you go and start with C is that you're not going to have as tight of a feedback loop, even though I think learning C is probably good and is probably pretty helpful. I which I'm talking out of my ass because I've never written any C myself. I just worry that if you start with C, you'll get mired in a lot of details and you'll never actually get to experience that joy of like, aha, it worked. Or, you know, like I have something I can go show or demo or share with other people. I mean, you eventually will just take a little longer. So that's my opinion. I know some folks in chat though have recommended, when this has come up in the past, they've recommended starting with C. So, you know, I'm guessing you can probably find a person who learned to code out there who started with just about every language on the planet and did it successfully. So, I'm talking more about like, how do you give yourself the highest probability of sticking with something and learning something? And that's why I typically recommend people go to Free Code Camp. That's my thought. Menu. Oh, absolutely true. The frustration can be a problem. Yeah, and so that's just. I mean, you know you, right? So if you're one of those people who can get in there and grind and eat it up, right? Like, more power to you. Start with C, right? But if you're not, if you want to kind of get those quick wins early and build over time, then maybe start with JavaScript, and then once you feel like you have your hands on, or start with Python, and then jump to C, right? So I think it's completely up to you. Uncle Pee Wee first language should be Lisp. I like Uncle Pee Wee is just like, throw him in the deep end. Oblivion. Harder shouldn't mean complicated, in my opinion. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree. And they aren't necessarily right. They aren't necessarily equivalent either, or proportional, or related. Rayax, you set the text size from the settings you pass to the view. Oh, thanks, Rayax. So you actually figured out how to do it? Cool. So in here, I can pass this. Oh, okay. So this is like maybe Markdown settings. And then, oh, with style, with text size. Is there a with theme? How do I set the theme? Okay, hold on. Thank you, dude. Or thank you, girl or gal. I'm not sure exactly which one. So sorry if I misgendered you there, RayX, but thank you very much. So I can create a settings object here that looks like Markdown. Markdown settings with style, and then I guess I can do with. Oh. What do you return? With size and with. Huh. So that's
Did we just become best friends?
Thanks for the follow, Imam. I think Imam. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. I dabbled with Clojure a bit, but that is not considered a pure Lisp. See, the theme can be converted from a theme with into, or converted into a style with into. Use whichever you prefer. Okay, so basically, I need to pass a settings object, is what you're saying. And so what you're saying is take theme. What did we have? Dark, I think, is what we were saying. And then what did you say? Hold on. Rex, you know a lot about this library. Into or converted with. Okay, so you say into. So this would be with style. like that. Okay. And so then I would pass that here, I think is what we were saying. But then we also still need this text size, right? Markdown settings. Yeah, this is complaining. I guess I can't do that. I wonder, can I do something like this? Can I get a new struct and say, give me the defaults? No? How do I do that again? Maybe it doesn't implement default. Oh yeah, because this is different. This is markdown settings. It doesn't implement this. Okay. Missing struct fields. So we have text size. Okay, so basically what I want to do is I want to create a setting with the style set to the dark theme, but I want to change the text size, or I want to change the overall size. Which I don't really know if that's possible. So with style. And what does it expect here? It expects a what is this? This is our iced markdown style. So this is where we can set the font, which is good. So this is actually gonna be a little bit more involved because it doesn't seem like there's one font size. Like we have to set font size for each individual thing that's rendered. So this is going to be a little bit more involved. Based on what I'm reading. Because that's the style object, or the style struct. And then there's also the markdown settings, right? And so this has different sizes. So I wonder if I set this, if these are all derived from that. Creates new settings with default text size and the given style. Creates new settings with the given base text size in pixels. Heading levels. Oh, here we go. It would be really helpful if I would stop and read the documentation. Heading levels will be adjusted automatically. Specifically, the first level will be twice the base size, and then every level after will be 25% smaller. So this is what we want right here. So we want to do with text size. And so the text size is going to come from our state. So we're going to say state dot editor font size. I guess we need to change that. That's not accurate name, is it, anymore? And then the style, how do we get a new one of these? Markdown. Style. Oops.
I'd like to say something.
5 minutes remaining, folks.
I know. We're getting to the end of the stream. It's this work thing keeps getting in the way. I don't know if you guys have this problem, but there's this thing I have to do every day, and like I show up and there's these people and they tell me what to do, and then after so many days I get some money that goes into the bank account, which is good, but like it really eats into my YouTuber content creator life. Do you guys have the same issue? Charles, there's a limit to how long the stream can be. No, it's not. It's not that there's a limit. It's that I work. So I just do this for fun in the mornings before kind of the day gets started. So I usually wake up and stream from 4 to 7, and then I've got to get off. And my kids usually wake up about 7 o'clock, and so I get off stream and go upstairs and kind of spend morning with them before they head out for the day, and then I have to start my day job. Ryax. I would use let mut settings with text size to auto set all the sizes. Okay. Then use. I don't know why Twitch keeps hating on you trying to put your code in the chat. I think it's because there's dots in it. I appreciate your help so much, Ryax. Thank you so much for guiding me along. It's very kind of you. Okay, so then I'm going to follow your advice here. So can I ignore that other parameter? I don't think I can ignore that other parameter, can I? Yeah, it takes 2 arguments. So I have to provide a style. Style markdown style from palette. I really just want the default. You know what I mean? Like I just want whatever the theme is. Which I guess you told me that I can create this. Let's see. Let markdown styles is markdown style, and you said that I can take theme dark and say into. Okay, and then I can say markdown styles here. Like that. I think that looks like it. Everyone's happy. I think the only thing I want to do different with the styles is the font. I want to set to the custom font. Cannot mutate. Oh, yep. So you're saying this. Or that's kind of what you said at one point. Alright, let's see if that works. So cargo run. Rayx, woohoo, you got it. Oh, thanks for all your help, man. I appreciate it. Skip work. I'll fly out to KC. We'll do a Lord of the Rings marathon. Okay, no joke. Lord of the Rings marathon, I would skip work for. I would call out for that. Just spend 9 hours in the theaters, just going from one showing to the next. That would be a lot of fun. I really should talk to my wife and see if I can convince her to go with me, or at least convince one of my boys to go, because I really would like to see those movies. At least one. Like I said, I'd like to see the one that I want to see the most is the Battles for Helm Deep, particularly at the scene where Gandalf appears on the ridge and the horses come down the mountain. Like, I think that would look so cool on a gigantic screen. I was too little when the movies first came out. I was too little. I was like in elementary school when the first movies came out. So my parents I didn't get to see them in theaters, but I think that would be so awesome. Okay, so so my keybinds won't work because my keybinds are on the editor, I think. So we might have to revisit that. But let's say I toggle out of preview and I make this bigger, right? Awesome. And the font's working too. You can see the font is consistent. Yeah, and let's try code block here. I will say, there's something going on. There seems to be, when I start typing too fast, there does seem to be, and I wonder if that's happening because of the update that I'm doing or the parsing I'm doing. There does seem to be some sort of a block sometimes. So let's do function, say hello. Yeah, right there it blocked. I'm not sure why. We might have to investigate that a little bit. Okay. I want to preview this. Oh, that's sick, man. This is exactly what I was looking for when I started this project. This is exactly what I wanted. Okay, cool. Thank you, Russ. This was such a worthwhile. Bob, Oblivious, thank you so much for peer pressuring me into spending time doing this. This is exactly what I was looking for when I started this. I mean, I know the styling's rough. I know there's some performance things. I can definitely tell that, like, we need to make the file operations async, and we probably need to reconsider how we're doing the parsing, because it seems like when I'm editing this, it doesn't like the fact that it's all every time I edit it, I'm also parsing the markdown. And I think that's causing there to be a block right here. I think at some points this prevents the editor from properly being updated for some reason. I just started noticing it since we added the markdown ability. So I think there's some sort of bug in here where, like, it will just hang. But it doesn't do it all the time. It just does it sometimes. I wonder if it's a certain speed I type. I don't know. This feels pretty good. I'm not sure. Awesome. Awesome sauce. Do the kids still say that these days? Awesome sauce? Yeah, got to debounce the markdown parse. Okay, I'm going to add that as a note. Okay. So, let's see. To do, which makes sense, right? Like, if I was building a web app, and someone was typing, like, I probably don't even need to debounce it. What I probably need to do is I just want to make sure that after the user stops typing for a certain amount of time, we just want to capture whatever the final, like if they entered like 20 keystrokes in rapid succession, we really just need to do the edit or the update, or I guess the parsing in this case, once they have stopped typing, right, for a certain amount of time. So I don't really think you'd call that debounce. You'd call that like throttle, or what would you call that? Throttle. I don't think debounce is the right word. Or maybe it is. Maybe debounce is the right word. I feel like I feel like when I've implemented this in web apps, I've called it throttle before. Let's see. I think I implemented something like that in here. components. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't here. I thought I implemented this somewhere. Where did I implement it? I can't remember. I can't remember where it was. I'll have to do some thinking on it. But yeah, that's a great idea. We just basically we probably shouldn't run the parsing operation every time the whoops. What happened to my comment? I accidentally undid it to do. Probably shouldn't parse every time we edit. I don't know if that's what's causing it, but it does seem like there are times where I'll be typing down the editor and like my keystroke stops registering for like 500 milliseconds or whatever, and then it frees. And so I'm guessing, and it was after I started doing this, so I'm guessing it has something to do with this. All right. Rex debounce is a technique in electronics and programming that prevents a function or event from being triggered too frequently by delaying its execution until after a specified time interval has passed without further calls. Okay, so then it is, yeah, debounce is what I want. Is the thought process, the thing I want. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep. Minister of Defense, good morning. Sorry you're showing up kind of towards the end of the stream here. We implemented our Markdown preview functionality in the editor, and that was a little bit of a challenge. It probably didn't need to take me 2.5 hours to figure it out, but it did. But we figured it out, so a win is a win. Mark, are you talking about the method that wait until the operation stop, use debounce, something else? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what RayX was recommending, that whenever we're basically every time I think my keystroke goes in, every time I hit a keystroke, it sends a message to the view function or to the update function to basically have the text editor do its thing, which is that's all orchestrated by ICE. I didn't write any of that logic. I just basically handle the update message. But we also put a piece of code in there where every time the user does that, we're also parsing Markdown. So we're taking the whole content and we're parsing it to Markdown. And I think that's slowing down that update operation, which then blocks me from continuing to type. And so we either need to just do the parsing someplace else, or like RayX said, we probably need to just like have some sort of time interval after which, okay, if we haven't seen an update message come through in a certain interval, we'll just go ahead and parse, right? So like in JavaScript, the way I've done this in the past is you'll use some closures to capture an interval, and then you'll basically not do something as long as you'll basically capture the interval, or you'll fire off the interval, capture it, and if you get another, and in the interval after so much time, you'll perform an action. And so then in the closure or in the functions, you'll basically say, okay, well, if they perform that same action again, clear that interval and now push that out again. And you'll just keep doing that until finally the user stops clicking the button or spamming the keyboard. I don't know how you do that in Rust, but well, we're going to figure it out, I guess, now. Charles, I'm gonna go now. Okay, Charles, see you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate all your reminders to hydrate. I do have to pee now. Mark, great explanation. I don't know if it was a great one, but it definitely was an explanation. See you, Charles. Thanks for all the reminders to hydrate.
Charles5432 is reminding you to hydrate.
Thanks, man. You're one hell of a guy. When you come back tomorrow, we'll have a caffeinate reward. Yeah, I like that Twitch makes it. I like that you guys can do things on. I like that you guys can earn points to do things on Twitch through giving your time and attention. Right? I think YouTube should do something similar to that. Because I think on Twitch you get points for every like so many minutes you're watching, and I wish YouTube would do something like that, where it basically says like YouTube gives you so many XP for spending your time here, and then I could say, okay, well, for every 30 minutes of time you spend here, you can send a text-to-speech message, or you can. So that's really cool that Twitch has that functionality. Makes me want to lean into Twitch more. See you, Maddie. Have a good day, man. Mark, I drank 2 cups of coffee this day. Well, I'm on my second. Well, I had 1 shot of espresso, and then this is actually my second shot of espresso, which I don't know how you equate espresso shots to cups of coffee, but that's how we do it. Minister of Defense, YouTube doesn't reward slacking. It just doesn't really have a way to reward your attention, right? It doesn't. I feel like I care far less about. I care far less about incentivizing people to spend money on my stuff, and far more incentivizing people to want to come hang out and view my channel. So it seems like YouTube should reward the viewer for their time and attention in some way, that then I can build like engagement or interactivity around that, which is exactly what Twitch has done. And it's been a ton of fun today using those rewards. I've gotten a lot of joy, and I think chat has gotten a lot of entertainment out of that. Let's see, feature, add ability to preview Markdown. All right, it's 7:15. You guys know what that means. I need like some symbolic like YouTuber. Like I need like a YouTuber. I need like a YouTuber jacket or something that I put on when I start my stream, and then I need like a YouTuber or Twitch jacket that I take off when the stream is over, and I have to return to real life. To be fair, YouTube rewards us with no ads. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I do hear that. I don't watch a ton of streams on Twitch myself, but I do hear Twitch does hit you with quite a few ads, and they're long. All right, guys. Well, let's do the normal wrap up. So if you're new here, first off, thank you for hanging out. Really appreciate it. If you'd like to hang out with me or chat outside of the stream, the best place to find us is our Discord. And I'll just drop the link there in the chat. It's just discord.stephenfreeborn.com. And then if you want to come back and hang out on stream in the future, the best place to find us live, or to find me live, is typically in the mornings, and I'll put my schedule in the stream as well. I'm usually live from 4:15 a.m. Central Standard Time to 7 a.m.-ish Central Standard Time. I understand for those of you who are in my same time zone, or even in the United States, plus or minus a couple hours, that's really, really early. So I understand. That's just, I'm a 32-year-old dad who has a regular job and a regular life, like I'm sure all of you. So the best time for me to get uninterrupted hours to do this type of stuff is early in the morning. The streams are always on my channel as VODs, so you can always come back and watch it later in the day if you'd like. I mean, obviously, I know part of a live stream is the enjoyment of interacting, so I get it. But they are there, and they're free. They're not members only or anything like that, so you can always catch it there. Mark, I appreciate your outro. It kind of made me laugh. Oh, well, I just want to make sure people know, like, hey, like, when can you find us again, right? Because things show up in your feed, and you're like, Wait, where did that guy go? So I just want to make people know how to get back here. User will do some rustling tonight. Nice. Yeah, go for it, man. Do your rustling. I'm not doing anything. I don't have any plans to do any rustlings tonight. I'm probably going to work on more C# projects, .NET stuff later tonight. But I probably won't be live unless I decide to go live. But don't plan for me to go live. Duck is reminding you to hydrate and urinate through the day. I will do both, Duck Boy. Thank you very much. Bob, no good stream. See you tomorrow. Thanks, Bob. See you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, the dono. Appreciate you, man. Finish events later, Steven. I need to come here more to watch your Rust journey. Oh, for sure, man. Stop by anytime. I don't know how much longer the Rust journey is gonna last, but you know, we'll do it until it's not really fun anymore, or I've gotten what I wanted out of it, and then we'll move on. We kind of have to move on because at this point I only have 11 more months in 2026 to accomplish the goals that I have, so I need to make the most out of the streams moving forward. I hope you'll have a great day, dude. You too, man. You too, Mark. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hey, what's up, 199? Sorry, I'm getting ready to shut the stream down, but good to see you, man. Bye, Duck Boy. Bye, Mark. Bye. All right, chat. I'm going to head out too. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you people on Twitch hanging out over there and holding it down for me. It's such a small group and such a small following over there, so I appreciate you guys. See you, Oblivion. Yep, till tomorrow. I'll be back. I'll be here. If you're here, great. If not, no worries. I get it. But I'll be here. All right. Bye, Duck Boy. Bye, Bob. Bye, Minister of Defense. Bye, Oblivious. Bye, 199. Who else is here? Let's see. Mark. Ryex, thank you for all your help today. I don't think I would have figured out some of the Markdown functionality in ICE without your help. Thank you very much for pointing me in the right direction. See you, Uncle Pee Wee, if you're still here. All right, guys. All right. I think I got everybody who was here recently. Oh, Pablo, what's up, man? You came right at the end. You're right at the right time. It's good to see you, dude. I hope you're doing well. I hope life's treating you good. I hope the job isn't running you too ragged. Yeah, I know the streams are super early, so I understand. I totally understand not being here all the time, but it's always good to see you. Good. That's good to hear, Pablo. Good to hear, man. Good to see you. I hope you have a great day, dude. All right, guys. Bye, chat. Bye. See you guys. I'm glad to see you. I'm still here, man. I'm going to be here. Yeah, I'm going to keep showing up. Bye, guys. Love you, honey. I'm coming upstairs. See you in a minute. Love you guys. Bye.